In this tutorial, we will show you how to review the CBF maps created from the processing jobs started in the last video tutorial. Remember that we began with two sets of ASL data, one acquired under the control condition and the other after 200 milligrams of caffeine consumption from the same subject we named Mary Byrne. Also remember that each set was processed twice, one with and the other without spatial smoothing. So in all, we ran 4 CBF processing jobs, and therefore we will review 4 processed CBF maps. Successfully processed jobs can be reviewed in the CBF processing summary table. To get to the table, first log into your CBFDAP account. Second, click Reports. Third, make sure you are on the Reports tab, not on the Group Analysis tab. And lastly, select your experiment, in this case, CBF_demo. As we expected, we see 4 CBF process results in the CBF processing summary table. Notice that there are 2 subject IDs corresponding to Mary Byrne, one associated with before and the other after caffeine consumption. Also note that since each set was processed twice, one with and the other without spatial smoothing, there are 2 jobs for the same subject ID. The same data set processed twice is distinguished with derived and derived.1 tag under the tag column. In fact, the same data set can be processed infinite number of times, each time with unique set of CBF processing options. Each time, the derived tag will increment by 1. We call this feature multiple processing support capability. You can easily compare processing options used between repeated processing jobs by clicking here. Note that this table shows what processing options were for the 2 processed jobs. As expected, all options are identical except for the spatial smoothing option, where the first job had no smoothing applied, and the second job had smoothing applied with full width half max set to 4 millimeters. Additionally, this window provides detailed processing logs for each CBF job, including processing start and end times, the CBF Byrne software version used for processing, as well as scan parameters and many more. The CBF processing summary table has additional columns that provide useful information for all jobs, including the project name, subject ID, visit date or scan date, and the experimental condition that the subject ID is associated with. CBF and histogram columns probably are the most useful and relevant for users. Clicking View under CBF displays the CBF maps. Note that you can also assign a qualitative rating on this map, which can be used as a filter criteria for a group analysis later. For example, you can exclude CBF maps rated as marginal and unusable for a future group analysis. Let's compare the CBF maps with and without spatial smoothing. As expected, the one with smoothing, derived.1, appears smoother with less noise. Clicking View under Histo shows the histogram of gray matter CBF values. The GM CBF column shows the average gray matter CBF values for the whole brain. Note that the CBF values are lower in the caffeine group relative to the control group, which is consistent with the known effect of caffeine reducing whole brain CBF. This is also apparent if we look at the CBF maps for the control condition. And for the caffeine condition. Clicking View under the Motion column displays a figure containing affinity motion parameters derived from the ASL time series, which is useful to assess the amount of motion the subject incurred during the scan. Finally, you can download the quantified CBF maps and additional derived data as a tar file for each process job by clicking on the download link. For detailed documentation on how to take full advantage of all the features available through the CBF Processing Summary Table, please select the Join Us tab under How to Get Started, and then click Reviewing/Retrieving CBF Data.